I was at a coffee shop last weekend working on the patio outside as I was enjoying the last few days of summer. I was sipping on my coffee when I couldn't help but overhear a conversation that two girls were having who looked around my age, maybe a slightly younger. The chattier one out of the two was talking about her spending habits, and while she earned around $200 to $250 per day, she would without a second thought drop $150 on a spontaneous trip to Aritzia a couple times a month. Whenever there is a new party or event to go to, she would claim that she has nothing to wear and make a habit of going shopping for new pieces. She also mentioned that she needed to start taking saving seriously because she didn't have a few $1,000s to her name. This got me thinking how I managed to keep spending relatively low and what my spending habits are. It's not because I can't afford nice things, it's because I choose to prioritize saving money through a minimalist lifestyle. I won't say that I'm an extreme minimalist as I still value comfort and sentimental things, but I try to only buy things that I will use frequently and not buy things in excess or to impress others. So today I wanted to talk about 5 things that I don't buy or refuse to spend my money on excessively so that I am that much closer to my savings journey and having financial freedom. Hey guys, before we start, I just wanted to introduce myself for those who are new to my channel. My name is Gabrielle and I'm a tax manager at one of the big 4 accounting firms. And here on my channel, I like to talk about everything money and career related. So without further ado, let's jump into the 5 things that I refuse to spend my money on. The number 1 thing that I refuse to spend money on or that I don't buy anymore is expensive skincare and makeup. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I made a habit of going to Sephora to spend $100 on a lotion or $60 on a foundation. A trip to Sephora can easily add up to a few $100s, and looking back, I don't even know if the expensive skincare products were really that effective or if people would even notice if I'm wearing a $60 lipstick versus a $10 lipstick. Now I value natural beauty and focus on having healthy skin. Even with skincare, I find that even more inexpensive products such as those from The Ordinary brand can be just as effective as expensive skincare, if not more. Focusing on brands that provide quality ingredients without the inflated price tag delivers the same results and is much easier on the pocket. I also moved away from wearing makeup and only having one of each item, such as one mascara, one eyeshadow palette, one highlighter, one blush, etc. And most days I don't even wear makeup, but if I do, I would just put on some concealer, a tinted lip balm, and call it a day. The second thing that I don't buy are designer brands. I've never really been the type to buy designer brands. Rather, I've got a good kick out of buying pieces that look expensive but were high quality and were more affordable. I also focus on buying more timeless pieces with neutral colors so that I can mix and match and easily create endless outfits. As much as designer brands look nice and you get that adrenaline rush when you go shopping for big ticket items, I decided to focus on buying clothes that showcase my unique style. So this means that if you want to have a chic style, you don't really need to buy designer things. You can easily find a nice blouse or a nice fitting trouser at Zara or Banana Republic. And I personally like to go shopping for bags or clothes at boutique stores that have more of a one-of-a-kind style. Of course, if I'm at a stage in my life where I can comfortably afford designer items without any financial constraints, I would be happy to do so. However, I'm also content with how I'm able to portray myself through the clothes I have and not break the bank. Especially if your focus is not on impressing others, but impressing yourself, I question whether buying designer brands are justified. The third thing that I refuse to spend my money on excessively is dining out or eating out. Another expense that creeps up on you without you really knowing are costs related to food. Yes, I know food is essential to our well-being, so how can we stop spending money on food? I'm talking about the excessive costs in addition to your basic grocery bills. Eating out and or ordering in takeout a couple times a week really adds up pretty fast, and the extra costs on top of the marked up food costs such as tip, taxes, delivery charges, etc. are easily one of the expenses that many people have without them even noticing. So we're talking about buying designer items and shopping at Sephora before, but eating out costs can easily add up to the equivalent of buying these things. I personally don't enjoy eating out since I have a difficult time digesting all that MSG, but maybe that's TMI, and prefer to cook something simple and healthy at home. Not only is this better for your health and your skin, but so much easier on the budget. Don't Don't get me wrong, I like to treat myself to a nice restaurant with family or friends once in a while, but I like to limit such outings to maybe 2 or 3 times a month. I believe balance is key in having eating out as a treat so that you could genuinely appreciate the experience and the food. The fourth thing that I don't spend my money on is a gym pass. I had always refused to pay for expensive gym memberships. Before the pandemic, I used to work out at the free gym at the office. I had also occasionally paid for a Steve Nash basic membership for $35 a month. But since the pandemic, however, I started working out at home. No excuses there for working out, and realized that I didn't really need to spend any money to be fit. In fact, I think I'm in better shape than before the pandemic, and I attribute it to developing good habits that force me to work out on a consistent basis rather than going to a gym with fancy equipment. In this day and age, we have so many resources at our fingertips in that if you have just started working out, you could easily learn from resources such as YouTube and other free resources such as FitOn. If you want to have a more tailored workout experience, I personally enjoy using the Sweat app, which is only $20 per month, or it could even be cheaper if you get a quarterly or annual pass. If you absolutely need or want to go to a gym, going to a gym at your nearest community center is probably a lot cheaper than going to a fancy gym like Equinox. I believe health shouldn't be expensive, and it's more about your mindset and your commitment to health than going to a nice gym. The fifth and last thing that I don't spend my money on is having a car. Probably the most costly expense out of this list. I also refuse to buy a car since I know that the moment it drives out of the dealership, the value of the vehicle drops 30%. But nevertheless, cars are one of those assets that depreciate over time, and the main purpose is to get you from point A to B. I mean, don't get me wrong, cars are definitely convenient, and some people may require a car because they live in more suburban areas that don't have a very good transit system to get to their job. As for me though, I prefer to live in the city and in convenient locations so that I don't really need a car. I prefer to walk, which is basically free exercise, or commute for longer distances. And if I really need to, I would take a Uber, but probably not more than 2 times a month. Unless you can really justify the cost of a car, I prefer not to have one and save hundreds of dollars per month relating to leasing or financing the car, as well as having insurance, maintenance, gas, and parking. I personally prefer to have the peace of mind that I don't need to worry about any of these costs or the hassle of driving a car in a city, such as the stress of finding parking and then remembering to pay for parking to avoid fines. This minimalist mindset shift over the last few years has really transformed my relationship with money and helped me see more clearly what I value in life. The extra savings resulting from not spending my money on the 5 things that I mentioned allow me to not be stressed about my finances because I know that I have a healthy emergency fund. Also, instead, I spend my money on buying assets such as real estate and stocks that actually appreciate in value over time. So those are the 5 things that I don't buy or refuse to spend money on excessively to really accelerate my savings. I hope that you guys found my video useful today, and if you guys did, feel free to hit the like button down below, as well as subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can be updated on similar videos in the future. If you enjoy these sort of videos on saving and managing your money, I have more videos like this, which I will be linking over here for you guys to check out. If you guys watched until the very end, thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!